Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that has just declared themselves an entrant in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. This is the Lost in the Midcard podcast. We are hosted by SpiderDuck.net, and I am your host, JB Huskers. My name is Jeremy, and my co-host here, Matt Black at RAWF Showtime on Twitter. Matt, how's it going today?
And it's going good, man. I just got done watching Ring of Honor 13th anniversary pay-per-view. We're going to run down the results next week on Lost in the Midcard for you guys who haven't seen it yet. But if you haven't seen it yet, go out of your way to order the replay. Get the iPay-per-view on ROHWrestling.com. But, man, this show, top to bottom, was amazing. And I highly recommend you check it out as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, we're going to... I wasn't able to watch it, but and also it just got done with here, just got over with, and so we will not cover it here this week, and I will actually get some time to watch it myself here, and then we'll kind of go over them and just kind of see, kind of explain what how it went down. What did you enjoy about the show without giving anything away, Matt?
It was honestly from the minute the pay-per-view kicked off all the way to the end, it was a solid night of wrestling action, and it was absolutely fantastic. Just wow is all I can really say. It was super, super impressive, and I honestly I can't say enough good things about it. I literally just got done watching the show and hopped up on here, so I'm still a little bit jazzed over the show, so excuse my enthusiasm, but if you saw the show, you know why I'm excited, and if you didn't, you need to go out of your way to go check it out. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I just got done watching The Walking Dead from tonight, and yeah, there's it's a world of enthusiasm out there for The Walking Dead, isn't it?
It really is. I can't say I'm a fan, but there's a lot of Walking Dead diehards out there, and this is their time of year where they're super excited, so it's good for those guys and yourself.
Yeah, the show is taking yet another direction, and some people are not liking it. Some people are liking it. I kind of like the new direction. We'll kind of see how it all plays out, but that's how it goes. And so the card is, like Matt said, the card was stacked for this show. We got Mr. ROH Roderick Strong against BJ Whitner, Maria Kanellis against ODB, the Kingdom versus the Addiction versus the Bullet Club, Cedric Alexander against Matt Sydal. Most of you guys might know him as Evan Bourne. Moose against Mark Briscoe. The Phenomenal AJ Styles against ACH. Tag Team Championships with Red Dragon against the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. And then kind of a co-main event, the Television Championship between Jay Lethal and Alberto El Patron, and the high-stakes four-corner survival for the championship between Jay Briscoe, Michael Elgin, Tommaso Ciampa, and Hansen. So that is the card stacked with a lot of familiar names and a lot of mainstays on Ring of Honor. I'm not a big follower of Ring of Honor. I kind of watch it from the outside, and so I'm definitely interested in checking out this pay-per-view later on this week. Let's go to our big stories of the week.
Oh, before we do, I can't help but not mention tonight was the return of Samoa Joe to Ring of Honor as well. So, I mean, that's worth the price of a pay-per-view admission alone as far as I'm concerned. Everybody knows how big of a Samoa Joe fan I am, so yeah, it was kind of freaking great.
So, is it a one-time deal, or do you think he's gonna be there for a while?
That I don't know. without giving too much away, his main point of being there tonight was, you guys go tear it down in the main event. Whoever's champion at the end of the night, I'm coming for you.
Mm.
So Joe's automatically an ROH title picture. So I don't know. He looked good. Honestly, dude, he looked a lot slimmer now than just the last time I saw him on TNA.
Yeah, and he was in a match. He was in a match last in Friday's episode. So
yeah. I mean, he looks slimmer now than he's looked in a long time. I'm excited about what's going to happen to Joe in 2015.
Yeah, we'll do a full breakdown of that Ring of Honor 13th anniversary pay-per-view on episode 7 of Lost in the Midcard. We are already up to episode 6, Matt. We no longer can count on one hand the number of episodes that we're on.
It's because we're cool like that, you know.
I suppose.
People are listening. We appreciate it. It's good times.
The road to WrestleMania kind of took a little speed bump here on this past Monday night. One of our top stories of the week. We don't know what happened. There's a lot of speculation of why, what, how, when, and where. But Brock Lesnar was scheduled to appear towards the end of Monday Night Raw this past week, and he did actually left the arena before the show actually ended, which in itself doesn't mean anything, because once you're basically told that you're no longer being used, well, Brock obviously can just hop on his private jet and head back to Minnesota. So there's a lot of speculation, a lot of different angles on this that range from merchandise disputes to Roman Reigns failing a drug test.
Just so BS.
To a lot of other things. Matt, what do you think the story really is? Obviously nobody knows for sure, but do you have your best guess of what happened, and is this going to be resolved, or are we going to have to change WrestleMania?
Well, I don't think this is going to change WrestleMania. I think regardless of whether they get a deal done or not, and Lesnar goes back to UFC, I think Lesnar at the end of the day is enough of a professional that he's going to come to work, he's going to do the job, and he's going to move on. I don't see Lesnar deciding to just no-show WrestleMania. I don't think he's that type of guy. And honestly, if he is, and I'm the UFC, I would take a second thought about wanting to work with him going forward. Because honestly, that's not the type of person you really want to do business with. And I think at the end of the day, Brock is a businessman. And regardless of the differences of whatever the heck's going on right now, Brock will be at WrestleMania. Brock will, if he doesn't sign a new deal, he will put over Roman Reigns. He'll do his final appearance on Raw the next night, and he'll go back to the Octagon. Me personally, I want to see whatever the heck's going on worked out, and I'm really hoping they can sign him to a new deal and fix, whatever the issue is, because Lesnar's been a hell of a main event player for this company for the last couple of years. Every time he's on TV or pay-per-view, it feels special. He's given a lot of star power to the company overall with the past couple of years, and I'm worried without him, it's gonna get it's not gonna be the same without Brock around anymore. So I'm hoping whatever the dispute was, I'm guessing it had to do with money. At the end of the day, that's what all this crap comes down to.
Yeah, and I don't fully believe that. I don't think Brock's just gonna walk out on the WWE, and a lot of the rumors are stating it was WWE's decision to not have him come on TV. It wasn't a creative thing, it was a business thing. And so creatively, I think Brock Lesnar is going to be fine with whatever way the title match goes. If he decides to stay with the WWE, he doesn't need to have the title. He has a lot of feuds that have yet to manifest itself with a whole different roster that, especially the guys like Daniel Bryan, get his hands on Seth Rollins one-on-one. There's a whole bunch of things that can be there for Brock Lesnar if he resigns and still has the same type of contract where he wrestles about 4 to 5 matches per year.
Yeah.
So I don't think Brock's going to be walking out by any means. Of course, it didn't help the the internet's last night when Brock Lesnar was at the UFC fight last night.
See, what people so quickly choose to forget about, if you go back and look at the last 3 years of Brock being with the WWE, he's been in the crowd for several UFC pay-per-views.
Yep.
So people really just want to make something out of nothing with him being there. But at the same token, it's smart of him to go to a show like this 6 days after the issues that he had, just because he can be like, yeah, Vince, you better give me what I want, or I can come right back here and everybody will be happier over here for it, because he's one hell of a box office draw no matter where he is. And I think it's a big loss to WWE and a big gain to the UFC if they don't work out whatever the issues are and make this work within the next couple weeks. I'm hearing he's not due to be on Raw again until March 9th from Pittsburgh, so he's not scheduled to be on Raw tonight. But, I think in anything that should give them plenty of time to fix whatever the heck the problems are. Because let's face it, JB, Vince has spent a lot of money on a lot of dumb shit over the years. I think he can afford to open up his wallet a little bit and give Brock whatever he wants to keep this guy under the WWE umbrella. Just make it freaking happen.
Yeah, Brock's one of those guys that moves the meter for non-wrestling fans to tune in. And, it's key to have him be there. He's not there all the time, but the moments he's provided us in 2014 were phenomenal. And it's definitely best for business to have him around. Now, I would say maybe make Brock appear a little more. Have him wrestle every other month. Maybe double his appearances, or maybe just increase them by 50% to where he appears 30 to 35 times a year. Those are the type of things that I would like to see if he does re-sign. But if he doesn't re-sign, that's key for a lot of guys to step up. And there's a lot of good young talent that is waiting to step up, and there's definitely going to be a big hole with Brock Lesnar gone. But, let's wait and see how this plays out. That's one of the problems with the internet, though. We've seen about 80 different angles about what actually happened, and yet we do not know for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's all honestly, it's all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to keep our speculation to a minimum, just because there's so many stupid topics that I've seen online this week that just make me roll my eyes and be like, where the hell did you pull that out of your ass? And because I swear at this point people are just making stuff up for cheap hits on their websites.
Oh yeah,
because
that's the way it is.
If it's not on PW Insider, people, just take it with a freaking grain of salt and don't give the rumors any credence by continuing to talk about them on social media, because the more you talk about them, the more power you give them, and the more people hear about it, and the more they believe things that probably aren't even the truth to begin with.
The source that makes me roll my eyes the most is Reddit. It's Reddit.
Oh my God. Yeah, Mets fan in particular.
Reddit.
You guys.
What is Reddit? It's like, It's like just the comment section of a newspaper, and that's all the site is. And it's like people are using that as the Bible for source, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, some guy here claims that he used to work for WWE, and he's been writing on a couple of things, so we're going to believe everything he says now.
Yeah,
Stop it.
We used to work for the WWE too. Yeah, there we go. We all did. Let's shift gears to the next big story of the week. A tweet during the Oscars, the Oscars. Jeez, there's so many fucking award shows, I can't keep them straight, and I don't watch any of them either. But anyways, Patricia Arquette made a great speech about women's rights, and Stephanie McMahon decided to take to Twitter to say thank you to her about women's rights, and then AJ Lee decided to respond to her. And with a tweet that said, your female wrestlers have record-selling merchandise and have starred in the highest-rated segments of the show several times. And then another tweet followed, since we can only use 143 characters. And yet they receive a fraction of the wages and screen time of the majority of the male roster. Hashtag use your voice. And in that, and Stephanie responded with, well, I appreciate your opinion, which, whatever.
Yeah,
of course,
she did not under
Yeah.
any circumstances, appreciate her opinion. But I
And
just
then
want
we,
to say, I just want to say right now, kind of upset at both Stephanie McMahon and AJ using my gimmick of WWEGamesUniverse.com. Use your voice.
Yeah.
You know, that's my thing, guys. That's my thing for the WWE Games community, and you guys are kind of stealing it. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, you didn't trademark it, so
I didn't. That's my bad.
And then, of course, I mean, we'll break down Raw and SmackDown here eventually, but the Diva segment on Raw was real ridiculous. A 30-second match, and internet exploded. And that actually caused Vince McMahon to take to Twitter and saying, "We hear you, keep watching, give Divas a chance." Now, here's the interesting thing, Matt. The women in NXT actually make more than most of the men, which is kind of interesting.
I don't know. I don't know about the pay scales in NXT. I can't comment on how much each talent makes. So I really don't know that for sure. And I can't say that anybody online really knows how much each individual talent makes in WWE/NXT. I think it's more speculation than anything. But, you know, the hashtag gives Divas a chance was kind of a fireball right back in WWE's face, pushing that hashtag give truth a chance at the top of the show, which I thought was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And the internet took it and turned around and just torched WWE with the hashtag give Divas a chance trend. It trended for over 24 hours worldwide on Twitter, to which that's when Vince had to step in and say something because it wasn't going away.
Well, yeah, just kind of like the canceled WWE Network went well into Monday morning after that came out. Do you think this is a shoot?
You mean from Vince?
No, between AJ and Steph.
I do. I don't think this is a storyline. I definitely think this is. At first, when Stephanie first replied, I'm like, all right, it's an angle. They're fighting at Mania. And the more I thought about it afterwards, the more I was just like, you know what? This doesn't really seem like a storyline to me, because it's not like AJ called them divas, or she didn't use any WWE terminology. She was using like female wrestler and stuff like that, in lingo that WWE doesn't want their talent to use. And also AJ's Twitter connection to WWE.com was removed. Like, her tweets aren't showing up on WWE.com anymore, which is one of the reasons why Rollins had all those issues, was because a couple weeks ago when those pictures were being tweeted out from his accounts, they were showing up on WWE.com.
I know.
And that was a really big issue for them. But the fact that they've disconnected AJ's Twitter account from her bio on WWE.com says to me that this is not a shoot. I mean, this is not a work. This is totally a shoot. And I think I definitely, for everybody that's hoping this is building into some kind of storyline going into WrestleMania, I don't think so.
Shoots have turned into works before.
Well,
so.
No. Absolutely. I will absolutely agree with that. And you know what? If the company's doctor wasn't suing her husband right now,
that was my next question to you.
I totally agree with you that this is a shoot that could turn into a work. But
that was my next question to you.
Yeah.
Do you think, with the lawsuit of Chris Amon towards CM Punk and Colt Cabana, do you think they leave AJ off of TV the whole time?
I don't think we ever see AJ in WWE again.
Yeah.
I think she's done. I don't think we ever see AJ Lee in a WWE ring again.
I'd like to see an AJ Lee sexy star match at Lucha Underground. That'd be a good one.
You know what? AJ can fit in. If AJ wanted to continue to wrestle, and I don't know if she does, but if she did, there's plenty of women's wrestling out there right now that's really good that she can fit right into. Be in the Knockouts division, Lucha Underground, Shine, Shimmer. You know, she could go anywhere and fit right in without a problem and continue to do what she loves without the WWE BS breathing down her neck.
Well, she's got a rich husband, too, and I'm sure she's got enough money from her time as being on top of the WWE Divas division, so it's not like they're going to be hurting for money anytime soon.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't think so.
We got a departure from the WWE late this past week. Not really a big surprise as he's not been used lately, but Rey Mysterio is now officially released from his contract with the WWE. He started with the company back in 2002, shortly after the buyout of WCW. And within WCW, he obtained the Cruiserweight Championship 5 times. They had a Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship, actually, which he won with Billy Kidman. He was a 3-time WCW World Tag Team Champion. And also within the WWE, he was Heavyweight Champion twice, WWE Champion once, and then Cruiserweight Champion 3 times, Intercontinental Champion twice, 4 times the WWE Tag Team Championship winner as well. And so he's been a highly decorated man between the two major factions, definitely one of the greatest talents when he was in his prime, one of the greatest luchas in his prime. First off, how about your thoughts on Rey Mysterio in the WWE, Matt?
I mean, it sucks, but I mean, he had so many issues with his knee over the past several years that you knew it was coming sooner or later, and WWE was really, they weren't willing to let him go, you know, because his contract was up. I was thinking it was like almost a year ago, and WWE used a clause in his contract that he missed so much TV time due to the injury that there was a clause that they could renew his contract for additional year of the time he missed while he was on TV. Well, obviously that didn't sit well with Rey because Rey didn't want to stay with the WWE, and he's been fighting with them ever since this contract renewal. From my understanding, this time it isn't a release of his contract. I'm hearing his contract has indeed expired. So, I mean, if he wanted to, he could have showed up in Ring of Honor tonight, which I don't think he has any interest in doing that here in his asking price of $20,000 per indie appearance. I don't think.
What do you think of his legacy in the WWE? And you could even include WCW in with that.
Oh, he'll go down as one of the biggest high flyers of all time, without a doubt. I mean, you can count WCW or not. Everybody's going to know Rey Mysterio in the grand scheme of things. It just sucks that things had to end with the company like they did. I really hope WWE is smart enough to capitalize on the ability of Kalisto going forward this year and attempt to make him the next Rey Mysterio for WWE, because I definitely think he has the talent and potential to do that. And I think they could use, you know, some more Mexican wrestler influence on their TV from people who aren't, you know, just straight up jobbers.
I'd love to. If he goes to Lucha Underground, that would be pretty cool. You know, you already got Chavo down there.
I'm pretty certain that's where he's going.
Yeah, you know, and Alberto Del Patron. It's kind of hard to say that, but you know, I'm so used to saying Del Rio over the years.
And he's really good friends with Conan.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just makes sense that that's where he's going to end up.
Lucha Underground is a phenomenal TV show. It's kind of put together like a movie with some of their backstage and cutscenes, and that's a lot of that is from Richard Rodriguez being a great director, and the show is different, and there's a lot of different elements to it. You know, they got a 6-man tag belt, which I think is more traditional with the Lucha, and then a lot of multi-man matches that are phenomenal, and a lot of great talent down there. So, you know, I'd love to see a healthy Rey Mysterio go down there and mix it up with some of those guys like Prince Puma, Chavo Guerrero, and Mil Muertes for one. You know, hell, even Big Rick. You know, there's a lot of good wrestlers down there. So it'll be fun to see if he gets down there or not. This past week, we said happy birthday to the WWE Network. It turned 1 this past week, and obviously it had a little rocky start to it, but it has definitely gotten its footing and is a great resource and a great entertainment value at $9.99 a month. And you know, what did you like in the first year of the WWE Network, and what do you want to see in the first year or in the next year coming up here, Matt?
Man, I want more specials. Mm-hmm. I definitely appreciated all the unique stuff that the network offered. Don't get me wrong. I love paying $9.99 a month for a pay-per-view. It's phenomenal, and honestly, if nothing else, I would keep the network just for the $9.99 monthly pay-per-views. But
there's so much more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with NXT and the Stone Cold podcast. And
did you watch 24 yet?
I have not watched 24 yet. And
24
honestly, I have a really hard. The only
24 was really good. 24 was really good, but it should have been an hour, not 30 minutes.
The only reason I haven't watched 24 yet is because I don't really know if I can handle seeing the Connor the Crusher stuff again. And that's the only reason I haven't watched it yet, is because that stuff, really made me tear up and stuff when they were doing that stuff last year. And I just don't know if I really want to see that again.
What part were you talking about again?
Connor the Crusher, the little boy that died of cancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can sit through that again. And that's really the only reason that I haven't watched it. But I mean, their specials, the Shield special, the Daniel Bryan special, the Warrior special, which I honestly had a really hard time getting through too.
Well, that was another hard part of 24 too, was the Warrior. Just the discussions you see with Vince and Warrior and Hogan, and then knowing that 2 days later he's passed away.
Yeah, and that honestly, that was super rough. I mean, as a fan for me, I met him at SummerSlam prior to that WrestleMania at a 2K event when he was there, to sponsor the fact that he was the pre-order bonus for 2K14. And I met him, and he was super, super cool. I got my Ultimate Warrior action figure signed from him, and he was great. Got a picture taken, had a nice little, like a minute or two chat with him. He was awesome. And then I was in the building when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was at WrestleMania when he took the stage. I was in the arena at Raw when he delivered that speech. And I fly home on Tuesday, and I'm watching the Daniel Bryan special that night. And that tweet came out from Triple H that said the Ultimate Warrior passed away. And it was just like, what? It was such a punch in the gut. Like, when it first happened, I was hoping that, like, Triple H Twitter account was hacked or something. This was some kind of sick joke. But unfortunately it wasn't. And I just couldn't believe I was in the same arena as that man 3 days in a row. Mm-hmm. And the next day he's dead. And it really put a sour note on the end of that weekend for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Something I haven't been able to forget about.
It's kind of interesting going back and looking at that stuff, and you almost you didn't think it at the time, but now that you know that he's passed away, you can almost see that he was is struggling. But I think what he wanted to do was he wanted to let it all out one last time. He wanted to make amends. He wanted to close a lot of chapters, and I don't know if he knew his time was coming, but at least he got a lot of closure and got his moment before he passed away. Absolutely.
I'm glad it's not a Randy Savage situation this year.
Yeah.
Because as good as his brother's going to do on the speech, it's not going to be as good as if Randy would have been able to be there to do it.
No, that's without a doubt. But at the same time, I think Lanny will give us something very special, I think. So basically, your likes and your wish for next year are both kind of one and the same. Then, just you love the specials and you want more.
I do. I like the unique content that they provide. If I could give one thing besides, like the specials, like the Stone Cold podcast and WWE 24 and stuff like that, if I can make one suggestion, I think one time a month they should take a house show. And they should broadcast it live on a Saturday night on the WWE Network, kind of like a Saturday night's main event type deal. But it's just a house show.
How about you do it like old school? How about you do it like old school, one camera and no commentary?
Dude, I'd be cool with that. I'd be totally fine with that. You don't have to give me commentary for me to be able to enjoy the show. And honestly, for most WWE programming nowadays, I'd probably enjoy it more without the commentary.
Well, those guys don't travel to house shows.
Yeah, exactly. So no, if you want to give me a Saturday night WWE house show like once a month and call it like Saturday night's main event or whatever, I think that would be really cool. And people like the live wrestling content And to me, it just seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like they just did Hulk Hogan Appreciation Night at Madison Square Garden, and it was a really freaking big deal. And I'm just sitting there reading all these tweets on Twitter from people in attendance or people who wishing they were in attendance, and I'm just going to myself, I'm like, wow, you know, why on earth aren't they broadcasting this live on the WWE Network? Like, what a missed opportunity for them to not be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, you know, this year's a new year with the network, and hopefully, you know, going forward we get more cool stuff like that. You know, make it worth people's while. You know, the $9.99 is great for the monthly pay-per-view, but you know, give people more of a bang for their buck and make it worth their while to continue to come as a part of the network every single month. You know, whether they're looking forward to the card of the upcoming pay-per-view or not.
And it's it's a process, and we're only 1 year into that process. So obviously there are still a lot of things that are yet to be there. Of course, I like just the fact that I can, you know, be able to watch a pay-per-view and not have to throw $60 at it every month. And you know, and I'd done the figures, and I'm like, well, at least domestically, if they got a million subscribers, they would basically kind of hit what they hit with their pay-per-view revenue. And so, you know, I don't know. I think overall it's definitely gonna turn into a great positive for them. And the thing that I want to see the most is the lack of Raws in the Attitude Era is baffling. I don't know if it's done on purpose. They're waiting to promote it for their next free month or something. But you know, it's baffling how little amount of Raws we got for the Attitude Era.
There's a lot of content, specifically from the 90s, that are missing. Not just WWE, but ECW and WCW as well. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely some content that needs to be added, like sometime this calendar year. It's sorely missing from the overall library, and it needs to be there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, especially when they brag about it, you know.
Yeah.
All the content they have. With the WWE Network turning one this past week, we're going to take a look at the first special that was on the WWE Network on February 27th, NXT Arrival, which was the first streamed special on the WWE Network, and it wasn't without its hiccups. It had a couple of little hiccups there, but overall it held up pretty well for the event. I believe it was only an hour and a half compared to the 2 hours that they got now. But let's run down the card and kind of see where these guys are a year later. The dark match was Mason Ryan defeating Sylvester Lefort. That's kind of interesting. Mason Ryan, he's not even with them anymore, is he?
No, Mason Ryan was released, and Lefort's been off TV for what seems like forever. Like, I don't think he's been on TV since he lost that hair match with Enzo Amore.
Yep.
On an NXT special, like sometime last year.
Yeah, and then his tag team partner, his name escapes me right now, but he's been kind of used as they kind of used him as a stalker for Tyler Breeze for a while. You know, you'd see him kind of hiding in the arena.
Yeah, it looks like they dropped that already.
They dropped that. The next match was an instant classic. Cesaro defeating Sami Zayn in a 23-minute match. There's not much we need to say about those two guys, but that match just tore the house down.
It was awesome. And it started that show off in a big way.
Yep, that was the first show of the night. Then we got Mojo Rawley defeating C.J. Parker in a rather short match. Mojo Rawley's been out with an injury.
And I never really saw anything into it to begin with.
Yeah, Mojo Rawley supposedly he was injured by Tyler Breeze, so I don't know if that's going to lead to a feud or not. I'm assuming he's probably coming back pretty soon. And C.J. Parker, he is still the jobber of NXT, as he was fed to Rhino. And he was fed to Rhino, but
Solomon Crow and Kevin
Solomon
Owens.
Crow.
Solomon Crow and Kevin Owens in the last couple of months. So yeah, he's the Coco Beware of NXT.
Yeah, he's a great guy to hate, though. I mean, he
absolutely
does that. But...
Dude, he's really good in the ring.
Yeah,
you know, they don't really have anything for him right now.
He just needs something.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a new gimmick. Honestly, the whole hippie gimmick just doesn't really cut it in 2015.
The NXT Tag Team Championship was followed there. The Ascension, Connor and Victor. They defeated Too Cool, the return of Scotty 2 Hotty off of the fire truck, and then Grandmaster Sexay. Obviously, we knew that the Ascension was going to go over here as they continued to do their domination. Ascension now on the main roster, and they're starting to kind of get their footing. And obviously, Too Cool is just there as a novelty. So, do you see the Ascension holding gold in 2015?
Absolutely not.
No?
Not a chance in hell. No. Absolutely not. They just lost to the primetime players on Raw last week. They're not holding any type of championship gold this year. There's no way. Prove me wrong.
After that, we got a phenomenal 13-minute match between Paige and Emma. We all know Paige has been in the WWE now since the night after WrestleMania and is now a 2-time Diva champion. While Emma's kind of struggled to get her footing on the main roster, she is now back to NXT to kind of get her bearings back.
Yeah, she's kind of floating between both rosters right now.
Yeah, she was involved in that 30-second match on Raw that we'll get to in a minute. Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods, that went no contest, I believe, because Rusev
came out and crushed everybody.
Yeah, he whooped everybody's ass. Then we got a ladder match for the... well, actually, let's go back there. Tyler Breeze is still doing strong in NXT. He's near the top echelon there of NXT.
He was kind of forgotten about for a while.
Yep,
they're getting back behind him again.
Yep, now he's in a high-profile feud with Hideo Itami, which has been great. I love it. Xavier Woods is now part of A New Day, which needs to turn heel because nobody...
It makes me so sad. I love all three of those talents so much. I don't know. I like the over-the-top happiness because I've always said they have something to hide, and JBL even said it. So I think continue the over-the-topness, but then finally get to that serious level that they kind of were teasing when they first started this. I just want great things for Kofi, Big E, and Xavier, and it really sucks to that they're in a thing right now where the crowd just doesn't give a shit, and it breaks my heart because those guys they're so freaking talented, and I don't want to see them wasted, and that's what I feel like they're just being wasted right now.
And then the main event from NXT Arrival, the first ever WWE special on the WWE Network, saw a ladder match for the NXT Championship between Adrian Neville and Bo Dallas. Adrian Neville ended Bo Dallas's long reign and followed it with one of his own. Bo Dallas currently not really doing much right now. Is he injured? He's
been out with an injury. I hear he just recently returned to the house show loop within the last month and a half. So he should be back on TV anytime. I would predict we'll see him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I hope so. I know Vince didn't like his gimmick too much, but maybe Triple H talked a little sense into him.
Vince doesn't like anything that's come from NXT, pal.
Well, he doesn't like anything that he didn't create. That's what it is.
What's this NXT stuff? Doing real wrestling. That's a bad word, Hunter.
You did what in WCW? I don't care. We're repackaging you. And Adrian Neville, he is a hair away from being on the main roster, I'd assume.
I think he... last year, like right after WrestleMania, we started getting the promo packages for Bo and Rose and all that. I think right after WrestleMania this year, we're going to start getting the coming soon packages for Adrian Neville. I would love to see.
I would love to see him as a surprise entrant in the Intercontinental match at WrestleMania.
Oh my God! Don't feed my emotions like that, sir.
That would be phenomenal. Now let's transition to NXT while Matt jizzes himself.
You just blew my mind right now, man. Because I've been trying to think of who the sixth person should be in that match, and if it's freaking Adrian Neville, oh my God. Just put that damn thing on the main event. I don't give a shit. That should close the show.
We'll talk about this in a little bit, but have they said 6-man?
I just think it should be 6. Honestly. Right now you could easily say 5. We
got Truth, Barrett, Ambrose, Miz.
See, now, no, Miz is in the Battle Royal. He's already said that.
Oh,
so
well, he was involved in that match.
It's B&B defending against, in my opinion, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, and hell, dude, throw freaking Adrian Neville in there. Because
that'd be amazing.
That would be dope. Originally, I say Kofi, just so Kofi could get his cool-ass ladder spots in there. But freaking Adrian Neville, man, that would be dope. I would dig that.
We'll get to that here in just a moment. Let's talk about NXT from last week. In the opening match, we got Hideo Itami going against Bull Dempsey. Pretty much very quick work there. Nothing much to talk about on that. We got a little video package that I loved for the Brian Kendrick. I'm very excited for his return to the WWE, and obviously the NXT universe was excited as well. We'll get to that there as he was in the main event. We got ourselves another Solomon Crow hack. He is saying he's on a mission for the NXT Championship, but what wrestler isn't? So we got the Lucha Dragons against Ty Dillinger, Jason Jordan. They got a pretty cool entrance, and I think they're pretty good as a tag team. But Jason Jordan steps away from the tag and walks out on his partner. So these guys, they kind of lacked an angle, but I mean, I thought they were a good, solid enhancement tag team that could have pushed around like what Murphy and Blake have done. So, what do you think of breaking up the tag team of Dillinger and Jordan?
I'm honestly worried for both of them because I don't think either talent was over enough as a duo, let alone splitting them up and trying to go out on their own.
I don't think Jordan has charisma. I mean, I think Jordan's obviously the face here. And, I mean, Ty did a decent promo to make you hate him afterwards, but it was kind of weird. Like, usually the guy gets left high and dry as the face, but he was kind of doing the heel part, and they were actually both kind of acting heelish. So.
Yeah, they were both. I don't think either of them came really across looking like a face out of the show that night. It was weird. I kind of get what they were going for, but I don't think they were established well enough as a tag team yet to really make people care about the fact that they're already being split up. So I just hope I hope they don't get lost in the shuffle down there.
Lost in the mid-card?
Well, yes. But they might
the
get lost
of NXT.
They might get lost in the curtain jerkers of the Performance Center at this point. Because man, NXT's roster is getting really stacked. And I mean, it's really freaking good. And it's so good that, in my opinion, really 1 hour TV isn't enough for that awesome roster right now. So splitting these guys up, if they don't really deliver on whatever their plan for that is, they could fall into nothingness in no time flat. So
after the match, Ty Dillinger got onto the mic and started bitching. And he goes, he'll fight whoever's supposed to be next. And I knew in my mind of minds, I knew who it was going to be.
So did
and sure enough, the motorcycle started revving up, and Baron Corbin comes out. And I always like to send tweets to Baron Corbin, and he likes to read Twitter. I know he's got to use my trademark, man. Oh shit, it's Baron Corbin. Because that's what Ty Dillinger said.
Put that on a T-shirt, brother.
I said it, yeah. I told him, I go, you need to, I told him, I can't remember what it was. God, it was one of the NXT TakeOver specials, and somebody was yapping their gums, and Baron came out. And I was like, oh shit, it's Baron Corbin. That's all I said, and so I put that on a T-shirt.
It's almost like, well, here comes the pain.
14 seconds mainly. I don't know. I think the WWE, the NXT universe forgot to count for that match, but it was about 14 seconds.
It was quick.
Yeah. We got a good Divas match after that, as we always do on NXT. Becky Lynch, and I'm glad she went with the pants this time, but with the shorts, I don't know. She just looked too prototypical. I still think we need to bring some kind of Irish flair to her to kind of differentiate her.
No, because when they debuted her on the NXT roster, they gave her the Irish flair, and she felt too much like happy-go-lucky female Sheamus. And I really think her new direction as the devil may care punk rocker chick is honestly a lot better than what she was when she first came in.
Well, at least I mean, the NXT universe has always loved Becky Lynch, but they're really showing it now. We got dueling Bayley and Becky chants throughout the match, and it was a great match for the women as always. I think we need a few more women to kind of round out the roster at the top. I think.
Well, I hear Dana Brooks a couple weeks away from debuting on the NXT roster.
Maybe Blue Pants.
I hear she's kind of like a Beth Phoenix type deal. So that if she's good, that should be pretty great. You know, Blue Pants might be signed sooner rather than later. So yeah, the NXT women's division is it's freaking great, dude.
Yeah, I think that we need to have more credible women at the top though, because we're going to lose Charlotte to the main roster.
And we're going to lose Sasha eventually, too.
Probably lose Sasha by the fall, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Sami Zayn's been ready forever. Adrian Neville's been ready forever. It's just all about the right time. But those ladies, again, put on a great match. Becky Lynch makes Bayley tap out with an armbar. I think we may see a Becky and Sasha feud. I wouldn't argue with that. But next week we do get the championship rematch between Charlotte and Sasha Banks. Then we got a little gore time with Rhino in a backstage interview, and that guy's as intense as ever, isn't he?
Freaking great, dude. Dude, I love me some Rhino, man.
Kevin Owens joins the announce team for the main event. The Brian Kendrick makes his debut in the NXT universe with a great ovation for the guy. Good to see that these guys. I mean, most of the NXT universe are smart wrestling fans. They know the guy. He holds the record for the SmackDown version of the Tag Team Champions with Paul London. I think the Brian Kendrick gimmick was ahead of its time. That's why it didn't stick. But I'm so glad that he is back now. And of course, the NXT universe is with a little welcome back chant as well. But of course, he's going against my favorite guy in NXT right now, Finn Balor. So this was a great match, but it was a little sloppy at times. I think Kendrick may be a little rusty, don't you think?
I don't know if I don't know if I'd say it was rusty. I thought the match was pretty good.
Are they just not used to each other? I mean, I saw a few gaps in the match. So.
And I mean, but honestly, that's what I like about the fact that Triple H is bringing in outside talent right now, because everybody down there is so used to working with one another that everything looks so fluid and crisp. But when you get up to the main roster, you're going to be working with a whole new roster of guys, and it's not going to be the same as working with the people that you're so familiar and comfortable working with week after week. So yeah. I think bringing in people like Rhino, bringing in people like the Brian Kendrick and whoever else they have planned to bring in the future, I think it's really good that these guys can lock it up and work with other talents to prepare them for what's to come when they get up to the main roster, because not everybody, works the same on the main roster that you're working with in NXT right now.
That's a good point, and if Triple H is proactively doing that on purpose, that's, he's hit a home run more than he struck out with NXT so far with his ideas. So.
For that.
All right, and another interesting twist. There's been rumors that Alex Riley's been training to get back into wrestling, and I think we might have seen that be proven with Kevin Owens throwing Alex Riley over the announce table after they got into it over kind of Kevin Owens' values and what he did to Sami Zayn in their match at the last TakeOver pay-per-view. So that might set up a little mini rivalry between Alex Riley and Kevin Owens. And are you excited to see Alex Riley back in the ring?
I'm excited to see Alex Riley off of commentary.
Hey, not a fan, huh?
No, he's not good at all. I was a fan of his in-ring work, back when he was getting the push, after the split off with The Miz. So, I honestly am excited to see him back in the ring, but I'm equally as excited to see him off of the commentary team.
And we did have the privilege of meeting that guy a few years ago, so pretty cool dude. Let's go to the Hall of Fame. The Bushwackers inducted to the Hall of Fame. Another interesting choice with the class that is out there now. These guys debuted in the WWF in 1989, but they have been all over the world. Obviously their their contributions outside of the WWF trump what they did in the WWF by far, because they were a joke tag team in the WWF, but
they were over.
They were, and they sold merchandise. The kids loved them. A lot of people are, complaining. I mean, they never even won the tag team championships.
No.
But there's Roddy Piper never won the world title either. So, that was just kind of that era, but where the title didn't change hands as much. But at the same time, obviously there's a lot of tag teams that should be ahead of them on the list. But do you think I think their whole body of work is good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, but there are a lot of other teams ahead of them. But what do you think, Matt?
No, I definitely think they're Hall of Fame worthy. What they did as the Sheepherders and what they did as the Bushwackers. I definitely think they are a Hall of Fame tag team. I think they did plenty in their time, and I think they definitely deserve to go in. I think there's going to be a lot more controversy about the next inductee to the Hall of Fame, who's rumored to be announced tonight on Raw. I think that's going to bring up a lot more debate than the Bushwackers did. So do you want to break that for those? Yeah, I'll break it. I'll break it out right now. If the rumor going around right now is that they're going to announce that Medusa is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame tonight on Raw. And if you all remember Medusa as Alundra Blaze in the WWF, she was the one who showed up on a live Nitro and dropped the WWF Women's Championship into a garbage can. So I think that is a lot more of a controversial Hall of Fame inductee than the Bushwackers. That's
for sure. But she was a great wrestler as well.
Oh, absolutely. There's no denying her talent, but what she did to the WWE, I am stunned at the notion that we could be seeing her in the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
When I was reading an article on the Bushwackers, I stumbled across a website. Have you ever seen the website Not in the Hall of Fame?
I have not.
They rank everybody that is not in the Hall of Fame based on order that they should be in the Hall of Fame. And the interesting thing about this was the tag teams. They broke the tag teams were broken down. Number 9 was because they got the individual people, and then they have tag teams as another entry. And at number 9 was the Freebirds, which I think they're going to get inducted in Texas.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely think the Freebirds are going in Texas next year.
If they don't,
I don't think anybody has to worry about the Freebirds getting their induction in Dallas next year.
Yeah, and Michael Hayes is still with the company, so it's a no-brainer. At number 27 was the Steiners. 28 was Demolition. The Rock and Roll Express at 38, and the Midnight Express at 42. The Bushwackers, 118.
Wow.
Way down the line. Now,
I'm honestly really shocked by those numbers.
Yeah, that was the tag team portion of it.
Which freaking tag teams are they placing in the top 40 that I'm not thinking of, or even the top 30 that go above freaking Demolition?
Yeah, well, I mean, and this is individual plus tag teams. So then I went to the site just to see what they got. We'll run this down real quick, but number 1's Macho Man, obviously, and that'll get fixed after the night before WrestleMania. Vince McMahon.
He's not going in until he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. Undertaker 2, but that'll get fixed in Texas next year.
I was going to say I think both him and Sting co-headline the Hall of Fame next year, and then they fight each other at WrestleMania the next night.
Lou Thesz at 3.
Yeah, I could see that.
The Rock at 4. Well, we're just waiting for him to be done.
Like,
I think.
Dude, legit, they could put him in any year they want.
Yeah.
Any year that they need a headline act, they can throw The Rock in there, and it's not going to be a big deal.
He hasn't wrestled his last match either, so I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Bruiser Brody at 5. Triple H at 6, but he's not done either. So
yeah, and I don't think he'll put himself in until he's good and done.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a Vince then. I think it's going to be a really long time until we see Triple H in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean they're the heads of the company, so they don't really, but they do have a place in the Hall of Fame. But
absolutely.
they're making the decisions too, so maybe they're being a little humble on that. 7 is Ivan Koloff. A personal favorite of Steve Austin's, actually. Sting at 8. And as we mentioned, the Freebirds at 9. The Destroyer at 10.
Who?
The masked wrestler that was in, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I've been watching professional wrestling almost 30 years at this point, and I don't know who the Destroyer is. So if somebody wants to sound off in the comments section of this audio and let us know who the Destroyer is, I'd appreciate it, because I don't know who the Destroyer is.
He was an APW long time a long time ago is when he wrestled. So
there's no way he needs to be in the top 10 then.
Yeah, I'm kind of odd. The Lariat Hansen at 11. That's not a bad. I was always a Stan Hansen fan when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, he's Hall of Fame bound eventually.
Dynamite Kid at 12.
I think the British Bulldogs need to go in as a tag team. I don't think Kid and Davey Boy should be put in separately. I think they should go in together.
Kurt Angle at 13. That'll be an eventual.
Yeah, as soon as he leaves TNA, he'll be it.
Owen Hart at 14.
Man.
Paul Heyman at 15.
Yeah, that's bound to happen.
Kevin Nash at 16.
Rumor is he's going to be co-headlining this year with Randy Savage, so that should be taken care of.
We'll skip over some of the older wrestlers that we may not be as familiar with. Jim Cornette at 19. Davey Boy Smith at 20. Vader at 22.
Yeah, Vader needs to be in.
Honky Tonk Man at 24. Rick Rude at 25.
Agree.
And Rick the Model Martel at 30. King Kong Bundy at 31. Jeff Jarrett at 32.
Yeah, that's never happening.
Yeah. Now let's go to clear to the end here. Let's see what they got at the end of the list. Oh dang, they go all the way to 300.
Holy crap! Yeah, let's not run this whole thing down.
No, I wasn't planning on it, but I just wanted to see who was at the end of it. Buck Robley. I don't know.
I don't know who that is either.
The Headbangers at 299. I was waiting to see who the first person I would recognize at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, freaking Headbangers.
Oh boy.
I don't know if they're Hall of Fame worthy.
We get to Raw this past last Monday night there, the first Raw after Fastlane. Randy Orton comes out to a big ovation, and the Authority decides to try to sweet talk him into joining the Authority again. And in the end, Orton does join the Authority, but I think you know as much as I do, it's more of get to Seth Rollins from the inside, don't you think?
That's exactly what I think this is all leading to. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I definitely think Orton is all about just getting to Seth Rollins the easiest way possible, because he knows trying to just go at Seth by himself, he has to deal with the entire Authority. And being involved from within, I definitely think we still see Rollins and Randy at Mania on the card.
Hope so. I hope so. The card is so at best anyway, so I think adding that to the card would help boost it up a little bit. I think the Intercontinental title match, though, has boosted up the card as well. But we got Bad News Barrett against Dolph Ziggler. Of course, we're playing who can steal the title the best. And, as long as it's not done all the time, I kind of like the stealing the title angle.
No, it's fine. My biggest issue with everything is the fact that freaking the Intercontinental Champion can't win a match.
Yep. Well, that's the way it's been for a while, but at least there's importance.
It's so mind-numbingly stupid.
Me and you are students of the sport. Were you like me when you cracked a big smile when Daniel Bryan was looking at that Intercontinental title?
See,
I cracked a big smile because I'm like...
I don't know if I cracked a big smile, but
we know he's not going to be in the WrestleMania main event.
It kind of made me more excited about the match, and I think I either mentioned it here last week on Lost in the Midcard, or I mentioned it on Twitter, that how cool would it be if they took the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania and turned it into a ladder match?
Yep.
And they did, and I'm like, freaking sweet, because that's going to be awesome. And I need to say this right now before we go any further. Anybody who's listening to this right now, who's complaining that Daniel Bryan is involved in the Intercontinental title picture, I present to you that John Cena is going for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. So you can't sit there and complain that Daniel Bryan's going for the Intercontinental title when WWE's poster boy's going after the United States Championship. So, shut up.
I like the fact that established stars are going for the secondary belts. That's what you have to do to reestablish these belts. We thought the U.S. title was going to be gone when Rusev won it, and you figured he was going to give it to Putin. That was their way of retiring the title. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to do that.
See, I thought they were going to turn it into the European Championship.
Yeah,
I thought. So yeah, I'm shocked it's still around.
All said and done, though, the Ziggler and Barrett match, great. I mean, they're two of my favorites in the company. They went at it for a little over 10 minutes with a great match, and obviously Barrett losing again sucks, but at the same time, I kind of get it, because that's the way where they've already kind of started the movement with Truth and with Ambrose, so why not just keep the ball rolling, and just get more people that say they want to stake their claim onto this title and make it more important, make it where these many people want to have this title at WrestleMania.
True that. No, I completely agree.
We saw the Sting and Triple H replay of Fastlane, which we talked about last week's episode. Phenomenal. The business meeting between the Authority and Orton, and Orton agrees to join the Authority, so there'll be a tag match at the end of the night with Seth Rollins and Randy Orton teaming up. We got a tag match after that. The Primetime Players are now back together, which I love. That was a team that never should have been broken up in the first place. They fight the Ascension, very small match, or short match, but
the Ascension lose.
The Ascension, they lose. This is their first pinfall, too, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Their first pinfall loss of their career.
On the main roster, anyway.
But Ascension got the heat back with a beatdown of them, so... yeah, kind of a rushed match. I think they must have been short on time and decided to cut the tag part of it, and so it was a little odd, but hey, oh well.
Felt like a lot of matches were short on time on Raw.
Yeah, we got a promo with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and I've said this for
I hated this segment.
This segment was, yeah, it was okay, but what I'm getting at is I think Roman Reigns is gaining my favor more and more week after week, though.
My main problem with this segment was, yes, Roman Reigns has been doing a much better job at positioning himself with the fan base going into WrestleMania, and I think WWE did a disservice to not only Roman Reigns but Paul Heyman and Daniel Bryan for doing what they did in this segment, especially Paul Heyman. I thought this was one of the worst Paul Heyman promos I've heard since he's returned to the company. In the fact that he basically said anybody in the history of the WWE against Roman Reigns, his money was on Roman. Like, really? Yeah. Over Hogan, over Austin, over Rock? Really?
Crowd definitely
Roman
didn't like
Reigns?
the Austin.
I'm like, come on. Just stop.
Crowd didn't really care about Hogan, but when he said Austin, a lot of people disagreed with that.
It was dumb, because no one really believes that. And you could tell how over the top Heyman was being with his delivery that he didn't believe it either. Yeah. And Heyman's promos are normally so amazingly good because he believes what he's saying. And you could tell just by the way he was talking that he didn't believe a word that was coming out of his mouth. And I hated it. I honestly felt, well, Roman delivered on the mic at the end of the segment, and I thought that part of it was good. But I thought Bryan and specifically Heyman through WWE Creative did a big disservice to Roman's WrestleMania momentum with that segment. I didn't like it at all.
I thought the running down the fantasy booking was a little odd, but other than that, I think Heyman was great. I just thought that part was a little weird, a little out of place, but I think overall, I think the Heyman part of it was good, I thought. So, tag team title rematch, the Usos decide to cash in their claws right now instead of WrestleMania, and so we got Cesaro and Kidd against the Usos. Obviously a good match with these four guys. It's hard to not have a bad match with these guys. The interesting thing is Natalya is now completely heel, which is good.
Yeah, she's most certainly a heel now.
Adds to the team. She can be a great valet, but also she's going to be in the ring wrestling, and obviously I think this still sets up a one team against one team at WrestleMania. I think the build has been so good for this that I don't see it being a four-way or anything like that. I see these two teams going at it at WrestleMania.
So you think they're just going to throw a bunch of tag teams into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Yep, I think that's what's going to happen because now we got the ladder match on SmackDown or SmackDown, the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know where SmackDown came from there, but we're talking SmackDown next. Maybe that's why I'm jumping ahead of myself. But we got the ladder match now that's going to have 6 to 8 guys. And last year the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal had 30 entrants, so it was kind of interesting to see those entrants. Maybe we'll go over that match again in a couple weeks just to run down the entrants to see how many of those guys aren't even in the WWE anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That might be a fun game to play. How many of these guys are still in the WWE? But winner by disqualification is the Usos, thanks to Natalya's interference, and obviously a complete heel turn for Natalya to match up with Tyson Kidd, and so that's definitely best for business. They show Vince McMahon on the cover of Muscle and Fitness.
Again.
Wow. Bowflex and push-ups, right? That's all you need for that, right?
Yeah, that's what it
is. Holy shit. We get a continuation of the Miz and Mizdow, which hopefully at the Andre the Giant Battle Royal comes to an end. Bray Wyatt is talking to an empty casket, and rumor is Undertaker may not actually be on TV until WrestleMania. Do you think that's best for business? I
hate it.
I'll jump in first. I think so, just because it's different. He's come back early, usually a month ahead of time before in different segments. I'd like that mysterious. Is he actually going to come? I mean, we know he's coming, but from a storyline perspective, is he actually showing up? Looking just at a pure kayfabe.
Well, at some point they're going to have him do a supernatural response to set the match up for WrestleMania beforehand. My main issue is Bray's already been carrying this damn feud by himself for the last month. Okay, and I think his promos are really starting to already get old on the subject. So you're telling me I have to hear it for another month where he's going on a one-sided promo spree against the guy who won't show up on TV?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that was just a rumor, but
I know the rumor. I'm hoping it's wrong. I at least want Taker on like one or two Raws before WrestleMania. I'm not telling him to come out work on. I'm not saying come out work a match or freaking get physical with Wyatt or whatever. But I think we need Undertaker's presence on Raw at least once or twice before WrestleMania.
It'll definitely help put butts in the seats, as Tony Schiavone would say.
Yeah.
We got a real short match between Jack Swagger and Stardust. Jack Swagger actually gets a win thanks to help with Goldust and distracting his brother. That actually just kind of furthers the feud between Gold and Stardust, which will more than likely show up at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We get promo between John Cena, Rusev, and Lana. Basically, Rusev saying John Cena does not deserve a match at WrestleMania. So, Matt, will go to you on this one. What does John Cena do to convince Rusev that he is that he will cave into a match at WrestleMania?
Dude, you know what I've been saying for weeks now, son. Freaking Hogan and Cena against Rusev and Sheamus, baby.
But how does he get?
Dude,
How does he get Rusev to a fight?
If Cena comes out and says, all right, you don't want to give me a shot at the United States Championship, fine. But me and you are going to fight at WrestleMania, and I got myself a tag partner, and freaking Hulk Hogan comes out, you going to tell me Rusev's going to back down? You know, because why wouldn't Rusev want to crush the biggest American hero in pro wrestling history?
Yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity.
You know, it's like last year when Brock Lesnar didn't want to fight anybody on the roster because he wasn't getting the title shot and he felt that no one else was worthy, and then The Undertaker came out. It's kind of like it's freaking Hulk Hogan. Of course you're going to fight him at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm still standing strong. That's what they should do.
Well, it was a good promo as always between the two. It's definitely been a good feud, a good build to the feud, and obviously it's gonna come to WrestleMania one way or another, either a tag match or a one-on-one match. After that, we got a great video package about Sting. A lot of clips from guys like Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, John Cena, even Tony Schiavone. Have you seen the Sting DVD yet? Is that from the Sting DVD?
I don't think it was, because the Best of Sting DVD was just a match compilation set.
Oh, it wasn't a documentary.
No,
at all?
it wasn't. Honestly, that's what I'm waiting. That's the only reason I didn't buy the Best of Sting is because I'm waiting for the Sting documentary DVD to come out. So hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later.
And I know this won't happen, but I wish they would mention TNA in that documentary. But
nope, Sting went away in 2001 and disappeared for 13 years.
Yeah, he disappeared.
He disappeared.
That was a great little rundown of Sting's career within WCW, basically. Then we get the epic Iron Man Divas match between the Bellas and Paige and Emma. I mean, by epic Iron Man, I mean 30 seconds. That caused a lot of
anger,
outrage. Yep, a lot of anger on the internet. A lot of anger to where Vince had to go to excuse me. Vince had to go to Twitter to calm people down, which people don't believe him anyway. So
yeah, we'll see what happens on Raw tonight.
Axelmania returned,
brother,
to Raw. He even gave us we even got a Titantron countdown of the amount, or count up of the amount of time that Curtis Axel has spent in the Royal Rumble.
It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. It's the best thing they've done with Axel in forever.
And then Ryback comes interesting in to challenge Axel to a match. We got a former tag team partners from Rybaxel facing off, but obviously no explanation as to why they're not friends anymore. But I guess we don't really need one. And that match lasted about a minute. Ryback going over there. Very, very, very simple there. That Axel. I wonder if Axelmania is going to get like ganged up on, and like he's going to be like in the middle of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and like the entire group of wrestlers in the ring just stops and throws him out.
Dude, I hope he wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Hey. I would not be mad if he won it. No, but I'm just saying. I'm guessing that's how they're going to do it, though.
I think that would be phenomenal if Curtis Axel won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I
bet the crowd, the crowd is people from all over the world, and they're some of the smartest crowd, especially on the Raw after. And if he was in the final two, that crowd would go fucking nuts.
Yep.
They would. Main event time. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns against Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, the main thing on this one. All of a sudden, blind tagging without the other person wanting to leave the ring is starting to piss people off, apparently.
Well, only if you're Randy Orton, because Roman Reigns thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah, but this has happened a few times, though, lately. I mean, that happened with Big Show and Mark Henry. Remember Big Show, Mark Henry?
Big Show.
Well, that wasn't a blind tag, that was just a tag.
Big Show and Kane.
No, Big Show and Mark Henry.
Oh, God, are you referring to that horrible storyline from like a million years ago?
That was not that long ago.
It was a million years ago.
That was like one of the last times Henry was on TV.
No, last time Henry was on TV was when he got punched out and eliminated in 5 seconds of the Survivor Series main event.
I said one of the last times.
You shut up. But no, Kane and Big Show were doing that shit on SmackDown just the other week in the tag team title.
Yep. But so Randy Orton snapped, but didn't quite snap. He did give an RKO to one of the Stooges, but he picked up Seth Rollins, dusted him off, and walked away. So
it was funny. I laughed. I wanted more RKOs though.
But I did like the blind tag though. By, as you mentioned, Daniel Bryan and Reigns could only laugh. So these guys are now buddy-buddy. They're going to dinner. They're having tea and crumpets.
Well, Reigns was like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'm main event in WrestleMania. You want to kick him in the head and get the pinfall? Fine. I don't give a shit. And you know what? Honestly, if I'm Roman Reigns, that's my attitude too. Oh, you want this win? You can have it, buddy. You know, what's it mean to me?
Yeah. It was a good main event, though. I think the show overall had a couple of...
I think Bryan and Reigns work really well together as a tag team.
Yeah, they do. And there was a couple of good matches, but a couple of microscopic matches that just took away from it. But a good ending to Raw, at least. So
indeed.
Definitely exciting. Let's move over to SmackDown real quick. Daniel Bryan is doing a little promo to kick off the show. And then we get Dean Ambrose coming out with the Intercontinental Championship. But
that was only because Bad News came out first to run down Bryan.
Yeah. And so...
Jerky Bad News jerk.
Yeah. And then so we get Miz and Ambrose in a match. I guess Miz telling Bad News that he'll get his title back for him or something. But that was a kind of a quick one that didn't really go anywhere.
No,
I don't know.
Barrett was able to steal the title back.
Yeah. Give Divas a chance. Well, Naomi and Natalya had a match, and the match went about 6 times longer than the one on Raw.
Hey,
unfortunately,
it's a step in the right direction, brother.
Well, I don't know if it's a step in the right direction because they've always been getting 3 minutes. So,
I mean, it was better than Raw. That's what I meant.
The shit. Yeah, give Divas a chance. We're just going to go back to 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds. I wonder if they'll actually go over that on Total Divas. Show them backstage excited for the match, and then it's over, and they're like, "That's it."
Dude, that would be hilarious.
That would be great.
If they turned that into an episode of Total Divas, to give Divas a chance, hashtag, that would be great.
We got Rusev and Jack Swagger part 55, and Jack Swagger is 0-55 against Rusev. They had to send a face guy out there to challenge Rusev and sit in that accolade again. And then we got ourselves a little bit of R-Truth on commentary, and once R-Truth, R-Truth just kind of showing up out of the blue, but the guy's been around for a while, so I figure it's about time to get him in the picture, don't you think?
I can't really complain. It's R-Truth. What else can you really say?
I did love the tiptoeing to steal the championship belt, though. That was kind of funny. We got another instance of Axelmania. Running wild, brother. 32 days he has been in the Royal Rumble match. Well, now it's... I loved how on SmackDown he was counting down the seconds, and the Titantron was right behind him, and he was off. But Axel taking the job again to the guy on a winning streak, Fandango.
Yeah, what the hell's up with that? Like, what is Fandango supposed to be? Is he supposed to be a good guy now?
I guess he's a face.
Because the last couple of weeks he's fought like Adam Rose and Curtis Axel. But
yeah,
they have not at any point established that Fandango is a good guy. So it's like, nope. I don't get it. I really don't understand what they're trying to accomplish with his character right now. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and like when he was fighting Adam Rose, he was playing to the crowd.
Yeah,
it's like a face.
It's really weird. It's like they planned to turn him face, and then they forgot about it, and and now he's just a face now.
Very odd, but
creative.
They can't make up their mind on anything. We got another quick match between Adam Rose and Goldust, and Stardust was a sock monkey.
I have
Stardust.
I have nothing to say about this.
Stardust dressed up as a Rosebud to attack Goldust post-match. And we got ourselves another match here with Barrett against Daniel Bryan, and that's where R-Truth stole the belt. But then backstage, R-Truth gives the belt back to Ambrose. That was kind of odd.
It was really weird because he was talking like he won the title from Barrett, and Dean's like, I want that, right? He's like, oh yeah, you can have it. Here, 2 title changes in one night. And I'm like, dude, are you on... What drugs are you on, R-Truth? Because
little Jimmy's coming back. I have a feeling.
Man, it feels like he's going in the crazy little Jimmy direction again. And that honestly was probably the most he was over in his entire WWE run. So they might as well bring him back.
Yeah, exactly. All right, the last topic of the night, as we typically round out the show with Impact Wrestling this week. They are in Manchester, England for. I don't know, next 4 tapings, I think. Is that about right? Or?
I'm not sure. But before we hit the Impact, we just quickly, main event with SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, main event
Dolphin Company beat Seth and Company. So
yeah. Just take the Fastlane pay-per-view and flip it over.
Yeah, pretty much.
There wasn't much to talk about.
There really wasn't. I just didn't want people to think we forgot about it. It happened.
Well, we did forget about the Divas on Fastlane, and then apparently they forgot about the Divas on Raw the next night. So
coincidence?
Yeah, I think not.
Seeing if that's the case, we just saved the entire wrestling fan base from WWE forgetting about Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
you're
they're
welcome,
listening
Internet.
to the show.
You're welcome.
They're listening to the show, and they realized we didn't mention the Divas, so they decided to only give them 30 seconds the next night. Makes sense.
Never do it again. We apologize.
On Impact, Kurt Angle comes out, says that the real championship match that we want to see is him and Lashley, which I wouldn't argue with, but MVP won the 20-man gauntlet battle royal the week before, so in the main event on last Friday's Impact. I watched it tonight. Maybe that's why I was thinking that. MVP against Lashley in the main event later on. We get the continuation of the feud between Ethan Carter III, Tyrus, Ken Anderson, Rockstar Spud. Just your typical quick little match to kind of further the feud and make you wonder when EC3 is going to get his head shaved, because that's what's going to end up, I think.
You would think.
But as it went, the match itself, it was short, but it wasn't too bad. Ken Anderson with a nice little mic check to Tyrus's nuts, and then that allowed Rockstar Spud to get the pin on Tyrus. Then Terrence Terrell comes out of the locker room to call out Awesome Kong, and a familiar foe of Kong, Gail Kim, comes out and kind of warns her, be careful what you wish for. And then the lights go out and there's Kong, and Terrence tries to knock her down and couldn't, and we get ourselves another implant buster. So, do you think Kong's getting the title here once they fight?
I think Kong is already established as what she is, and right now, she's already beat Havoc. So right now, you look at the Knockouts division, and as of right now, Gail Kim is the only suitable challenger for Kong because no one else could compare. I think it would be really smart of TNA to allow Taryn to somehow beat Kong to establish her credibility as champion. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think it would be best to solidify another main event talent on that division instead of just letting her get squashed by Kong.
Then we, following that segment, we got Austin Aries saying it's time for him to put his work clothes on, teasing that he's going to cash in his Feast or Fired briefcase on tonight's main event. We then get a mixed tag match between Angelina Love, Robbie E, against Robbie's ex Brooke and Chris Melendez, the Sergeant. And this match was, I don't know.
It was what it was.
It was more about Brooke and Robbie E than it was anything.
Yep.
and we didn't get hardly anything of Sarge in that match. So, but Robbie E gets a pinfall on Brooke, so I bet he enjoyed that.
He's been doing that for years. It's not like it's any different now.
EC3 finds Rockstar Spud all alone in a room backstage. Tries to shave his head, but Anderson makes the save. And they got a little clipping of EC3's hair, so maybe that is a thing, a sign of things to come with a shaved EC3. Austin Aries comes to the ring after that. Actually, basically saying he's going to cash it in tonight and take away the title, but Samoa Joe from the BDC comes out, and they have a match in this, I believe, was match of the night between Austin Aries and Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah, it was great. They tore the house down, for sure. It was, dude, anytime people like Joe and Aries get together, you know you're in for a hell of a match, and they definitely didn't disappoint.
Then we got a beatdown from the Beatdown Clan on Aries, and they put him through a table with that double foot stomp that Low-Key does, and it didn't even break the table. So Joe goes, okay, my fat ass is just going to do a senton. We'll break the table that way. Eric Young backstage talking MVP. MVP, using his manipulative ways, reminds him of who put Eric in the hospital, which was Bobby Lashley, which then caused the rift between Eric and Bobby Roode. And they announced on Impact this past Friday that next week's main event will be a three-way dance for the number one contendership of the TNA Championship, and that'll be between Roode and Eric Young, and there's somebody else that I'm...
Kurt Angle.
Is it Kurt Angle? So there's somebody else I was spacing off in there that
yeah, it's Young, Roode, and Angle.
I'm assuming we'll go over that here towards the end, but then we get a couple of British boot camp guys facing off, and then Bram interrupts them and beats the shit out of them, and then everybody's favorite fanny pack wearing guy Grado comes out, and he kind of put on a couple of moves before Bram destroyed him. Basically, Bram showing his dominance as he is waiting for Magnus to make his return.
What do you think of Bram? Honestly.
I like his presence, and I'm liking the story. And we mentioned that last week or a couple weeks ago on this show, that I'm liking the story between him and Magnus.
Yeah, I don't think the guy's anything special.
In the ring, I don't know, because I haven't really, like I said, I've just got back into TNA since they moved to Destination America about 2 months ago, and we haven't seen Bram in the ring outside of some beatdowns.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen a lot more of him in the ring than you have. I think when he steps in the ring, I don't think the guy's anything special.
Well, and that'll be something to judge once the obvious matchup with him and Magnus comes out here.
Yep.
Whenever they decide to do that. TNA World Heavyweight Championship time. MVP Bobby Lashley. I thought it was a good match, but it didn't have quite the main event feel that Joe and Aries had. And
I don't know, man. It was interference mania.
Well, I meant the when they actually had a wrestling match.
Okay, got it.
Well, and then what is the ref doing throwing out the BDC on a no disqualification match?
That's what I don't even know if it was a no disqualification match because MVP mentioned backstage that it was no DQ, but the way the commentators talked and the way the match played out in the ring, it looked like it wasn't a no DQ match. So I'm not really sure what that match was supposed to be.
Apparently the guys that wrote the match of the no DQ match between Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey, they moved to TNA this week to write the main event.
Oh, those bastards.
And yes, we got our typical overbooking by TNA, where obviously we knew Eric Young was going to come out. That was completely teased with the backstage segment, and but then we get what appears to be the next nemesis of the BDC, Drew Galloway.
Yeah.
And nobody's head got split open tonight.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So apparently Lashley gets the spear on MVP after Drew Galloway hits MVP with the chair, so Lashley retains the title. And so then apparently we're going to get Drew Galloway feuding with the BDC here in the near future. A couple questions here for you, Matt. First off, who do you think wins the triple threat between Angle, Rude, and Young next week?
Honestly, as long as Young doesn't win, I don't care.
But I think Rude and Young cancel each other out.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get that Angle Lashley match.
Yeah, it feels like all roads lead to Angle Lashley right now. So, if I had to put money down, that's what I would go with.
And who do you think? Who do you think replaces Samoa Joe in the BDC, or do they need to replace Samoa Joe?
Well, MVP has already mentioned that Homicide's a member of the BDC, but he's out hurt. So, next time they tape, if Homicide's healthy, I'd say they're just going to slot Homicide in that spot.
Now, he's the guy with he was the guy with Hernandez back in the day, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yep, that was my when I was drinking a cup of coffee with TNA for a while. I enjoyed that tag team too.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah, LAX was great.
Yeah, that was definitely a good tag team there. So that wraps up for Impact this week. Looking ahead, what are you looking forward to with this week of programming on the WWE, Matt?
I'm just looking for them to further establish the importance that we're on the road to WrestleMania. Because I really didn't feel like last week's programming, Raw specifically, felt like a Road to WrestleMania show. It felt like another edition of Raw, and it didn't feel like there was any, I don't know what the right word is, like there was any, damn it, I'm drawing a blank on my word.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Typically the Raw after a pay-per-view is supposed to be good, and you gotta expect the Raw after the pay-per-view before WrestleMania to be phenomenal. That's a lot of times that's when Undertaker returns. Big returns happen, big feuds get escalated even further, and it just did not happen with this with this Raw last week.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like there was any, they didn't feel, man, there was no sense of urgency that we were on the road to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. It just felt like another edition of Raw, and that was really disappointing to me because this is the time of year where the creative team is supposed to be firing on all cylinders, and everything's supposed to make sense, and everything is supposed to be, balls to the wall, 120 miles an hour. We're heading to WrestleMania. This is our best month of TV every year, and we're, kicking things off in a big way. And I really didn't feel that they did that at all. And I really that's what I want to see this week. I want to see that these shows have a much more road to WrestleMania feel to them than last week did.
Yeah, I mean, the stories that are being told and the feuds that are being built are good, but like you said, they're not WrestleMania quality. There are things these are things creative should be coming up with at October's pay-per-view, Battleground. These are stories that should be to make us excited for the pay-per-view, and then they got to give us something. They got to step it up for the big ones.
Yeah.
This is a lot of times on those Battlegrounds or back with Backlash where they would just copy the WrestleMania card for the most part. That's where they need to have this kind of creativity and then bring it even further in WrestleMania. Because, these are good stories. Rusev and Cena is great. Roman Reigns' journey. Roman Reigns has done a great job since the Rumble. So his journey to WrestleMania has been a great story. The Intercontinental Championship kind of scrambling type of deal with a bunch of people getting involved, that's coming into fruition, so I think we'll get a little more solidarity there with the announcement of the ladder match. Obviously, that came down. That came down after the TV tapings for SmackDown on Tuesday, so they kind of mentioned it as an aside. So they'll probably delve into that a lot more on Monday Night Raw tonight. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 6 of Lost in the Midcard. We can no longer now count on one hand how many episodes we've had. I'd like to thank you for listening to our show. And as always, you can find our links for YouTube and iTunes on www.facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. You can search for Lost in the Midcard on iTunes. And we'd also like to thank SpiderDuck.net for being our host on iTunes. And, thank you for subscribing, and definitely tell your friends and tell your friends' friends. We are here to stay. We are here to give you everything, an uncensored and unfiltered look into the world of professional wrestling. And, Matt, do you have any last words for this episode?
Just thank you, everybody, for listening. And, without you guys listening, there wouldn't be us here to do it. So we appreciate it. Just keep telling your friends, like, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. And that's all we can ask for. Just thanks for all the support that we've had thus far, and we'll continue to be back with you each and every week, giving you our take on professional wrestling and the wacky world that we're involved in right now.
That is definitely true. So for Matt, this is Jeremy. Enjoy this week of wrestling coming up, and we'll be here to talk about it next week. Thank you.